What is a dichotomous key? Well, that word dichotomous comes from the word dichotomy, which implies a split of into exactly two things. That root di implies two. And what you see is a binary split. And so if you look at this key up here, this really basic key, this is just kind of showing yes and no's. You ask a question, does it have fur? And you either go left or you go right. If it's yes, it does have fur, then you've got a mammal. If no, well, then you've got a whole other set of questions that you've got to answer. Then does it have feathers? Again, this next question is a binary split. Either you go to the left or you go to the right. Or in other words, you go yes or you go no. Okay, well, that's sort of what this key is set up like down here on the bottom left as well. We've got something that starts with just plants, and then it splits into two things here, into narrow leaf and broad leaf. If it's a narrow leaf, it splits into bell-like flower and trumpet-like flower. If it's a broadleaf, then it splits into the top petal overhangs lower petal, or top petal does not overhang lower petal, and so on. Well, there's different ways to write this. This one on the bottom, this is yet another way to sort of read or write a dichotomous key. This one's sort of more like choose your own adventure. So it's the exact same terms as up ahead, up above. Notice. So the first step, number 1, says narrow leaf or broadleaf. If narrow leaf, go to 2. If broadleaf, go to 3. So it's choose your own adventure. If you've got a broadleaf, well, then you go over here to number 3. Then you skip number 2, right? You go to number 3. And same thing, you read the top or the bottom. And this one, either you end up with a name of a plant, or you have to go to the next step, step 4. So that's more or less how a dichotomous key works. So here is a really small sort of basic key that I wrote over taxa that you know. Taxa that we've gone over already this semester. We've got Phaeophyta, Chlorophyta. Remember, those are the brown algae, the green algae. We've even got Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Pinophyta, and then angiosperms. I know we haven't gone over them yet, but whatever. We've got this key, and that's the whole idea of a key. It's not actually to look at evolutionary relationships. We would never say build a cladogram off of a dichotomous key. No, a dichotomous key has a very different purpose. The point of a dichotomous key is to be able to identify something and give it a name. So the whole point of having a dichotomous key is, or using a dichotomous key rather, is we've got a plant that's unknown, right? You've got this plant, you've never seen it before, and somebody else has already written a key for you, and you just need to sort of choose which step is correct and find out the name of this thing. So this is just a kind of a complete key, and here's some pictures that go with them. And like, let's say we just wanted to look at this one right here, and we're like, oh, I can't remember the name of the group of this organism that we've learned about this semester. I remember learning about, like, it had seeds and it's got wood and cones, but I can't remember the name of it, let's just say. Okay. And so the way to use a dichotomous key is you do like this. You start with the very first key step. The first key step is a dichotomous split between two steps. We've got sort of the first lead, which is plant aquatic, and then we've got the second lead down here, plant terrestrial. And we've called them A and AA. I could have called them 1 and 1-1, or triangle and triangle, or anything that just differentiates or that splits something into two things. So we're looking at this thing with the woody cones, and I can't remember the name of it. We have to pick between plant aquatic and plant terrestrial. Well, if I remember correctly, the thing was just terrestrial. So now dichotomous key does not go in alphabetical or numeric order at all. I would not then go up to B and BB. Oops. Because those are up above. Those were under plain A, like single A, but we chose double A. And so the next step apparently is C and CC, because those are directly under the key step that we just chose, or the lead that we just chose. So C and CC is my next key step, right? It's not, but I'm not choosing between C and D, or A and B. I'm choosing between now C and CC. C, plant reproduces with spores, and it's got a free-living gametophyte. CC says plant reproduces with seeds, gametophyte retained in megasporangium. Well, I remember learning about this one, and it had seeds, so let's go with CC. And again, remember, you're not going in alphabetical order. You're going with what is next under Like, what is in line? What is next in line? And here it's this set of E and E. E says seeds produced in cones. Double E says seeds produced in fruits from flowers. Well, I don't remember learning about those. And yeah, there it is, Pinaphid. That's the name of that gymnosperm. And so this was a way for us to use some morphological features that have been written out and contrasted between sets of groups of organisms. And you know, maybe we could do the exact same thing for, this one right here. It looks like this green plant that's sort of underwater at least. And so we could kind of walk through this. Okay, plant aquatic, and then you read through these and looks like, well, we're looking at the green one, so there's Chlorophyta. Okay. Cool. So that's how a dichotomous key works. Now for your assignment, you're going to be using a dichotomous key that's much harder. So I just wanted to show you how to use this, and then you're going to kind of use a different one on your own, okay? And so I wanted to show you that one, and I actually wanted to walk through one conifer with you, because that's where you're going to be keying out, our 3 different conifers. So here is the first one. So we've got this big, tall, woody thing. Looks like we've got these leaves and that brown 3-parted cone. Interesting. Okay. Oh, here's another set of pictures. This looks like a close-up of some stems. And we've even got this handy-dandy diagram that's these red lines. These areas represent nodes, and then the spaces in between them would be the internodes. So in other words, those red dotted lines, those are where leaves are attached. And so what appears to be going on here is that these kind of linear, flat structures are actually leaves that are oppressed kind of to a stem. And we just can't even see the stem because it's covered by these flat, oppressed, green, scale-like leaves. Okay, so we've got nodes, we've got internodes. What else do we have in our slide here? Okay, we've got more pictures of kind of showing scale again. So that was really kind of zoomed in, that previous picture, according to this hand here. And there it is again. All right. Now, we've got this unknown conifer. We need to figure out what it is. Well, now we switch to your key. So you've already, or maybe not, you'll need to download this little PDF, Key to Gymnosperm Genera. And now this time we don't have A and AA, B and BB. We have like 2A and 2B, 4A and 4B, okay? So it's the same idea where it's a dichotomous split. It's just that this time you're choosing between A and B within a single number, okay? So the first step here is going to be choosing between 1A and 1B, which I don't even see yet. You've got to kind of scroll all the way down. Oh my gosh, there's 1B at the very bottom. So even though it's way down here, even though they're not perfectly equal splits, that's okay. They're still equal in the sense that you've got one route leading to some taxa and the other route leading to the rest of the taxa. So 1A says leaves needle-like or flattened and linear to oblong, or all-shaped or scale-like. Okay. 1B says leaves broad, not needle-like, all-shaped, nor scale-like. Well, going back to our pictures, I feel like they kind of do remind me of little scales, but maybe I'm not totally sure what they mean by like linear or scale-like. Well, there's another file that you'll be downloading, and it's a quick conifer glossary, and it's got most of the terms I think that you'll encounter on this gymnosperm key. So, for example, like here's all-shaped, narrow throughout but broader at the base and tapered to a sharp tip. Okay, interesting. Well, maybe let's compare that to scale-like. That's kind of what I was thinking originally. Wide and flat leaves, oppressed to a stem and covering stem. Oh, and then it says see page 2. Oh, okay, so on page 2, we've also got a diagram here with some terms, and it does sort of, our stem does sort of resemble the scale-like leaves part of this diagram. Oh, and looks like there's also a photo associated with maybe a different term if we need that. Okay, so these are all of your resources. So based on that, going back to our key here, I think we should choose 1A because our leaves are indeed scale-like. Okay, so now 2A or 2B. Leaves in fascicles or clusters of 2 or more. versus 2B leaves alternate, opposite, or world, none in fascicles. Well, this is begging the question, what is a fascicle? So you're going to have to go back to the glossary. And there's the word fascicle right here. A bundle or cluster of needles. And it looks like we've got a picture of them. Here's a bundle. We've got sort of a cluster of them on this short little branchlet down there. And we're not really seeing that in our picture here, in our unknown conifer. We're not seeing those needle-like leaves. We're not seeing clusters of leaves. We're seeing sort of individual leaves attached and overlapping with one another. So I think we should go with none in fascicles, which was under 2B, not 2A. So again, we're not going in numerical order here. We're not going, since we picked 2B, we're not going up to 3A and 3B. No, we're actually going just below whatever 2B, whatever is under 2B, which apparently is 5. We've got 5A and 5B. So let's choose that now. Leaves opposite or world, short and scale-like or all-shaped, versus 5B leaves alternate. Looks like at these nodes here, we've got at least 3 visible leaves, but the truth is that there's a 4th leaf on the back side of this. Since it's a 2-dimensional picture, we can't see it. There are actually 4 leaves attached at that node. And so let's go with leaves world, okay? 5A, not leaves alternate, 5B. All right, we're getting closer. 6A and 6B is our next step. 6A says branchlets arranged in flat sprays. 6B is branchlets not in flat sprays. Well, what's a flat spray? Again, we're going to have to go back to this glossary. Here's a picture of flat sprays of scale leaves, and notice that they're sort of flat in the sense that they're laterally flattened. They're kind of broad on 2 ends and then narrow when you look at them from a side view. I think that is sort of what ours looks like, especially when you look at this picture. Or maybe even this picture up here. You can see here it is, the front view of these stems. Oh, and there's the side view. It's very narrow, or in the background there's sort of out of focus, narrow side view. So I think that we do have the flat sprays here. Let's go with 6A instead of 6B. All right, 7A and 7B now. 7A, internodes of branchlets longer than broad, versus 7B, internodes of shorter branchlets about as long as broad. Leaves 2 at a node, versus leaves in whorls of 4. Well, if we go back to our picture here, our internodes, indeed, they are long, and they're longer than the node width, right? Or they're longer than the width at any space in the internode. So it looks like we've got the internodes of branchlets longer than they are broad, and the leaves are in whorls of 4, and so Chalcedrus, that's our answer. This is our unknown plant. So exciting. So for your answer on your your lab assignment, this is what I would want you to write out. I want you to write out all of the key steps that we took. So we started off with 1A, and then we went to 2B, 5A, 2B, 5A, 6A, and then 7A. And then we got to Chalcedrus. And it's always good to italicize the genus name. So that would be sort of your answer. But you're going to do this for other conifers. This was just me walking through an example of how to key out a member of an unknown specimen. Okay. So please don't hesitate to go to your TA's office hours or email me. I'm also going to have some extra office hours on Friday if you'd like to pop into those. So good luck and have fun keying these unknown conifers out.